Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And today we are talking stock trade and investment with my man Omar Williams, aka O. So get your tablet, your notebook, your iPad, or whatever it is you take notes on and get ready. Frame of Mind Inc. podcast starts right now. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. It's a frame of mind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. This is your boy Simbawi Nivaye Jr., aka TK, along with my man Omar Williams. We call him O. Say what's up to the peeps.
What's going on, good people?
It is another lovely Wednesday. Some of you call it hump day. And y'all know how we do. We jump right in and get things started. But before we do that, it is the first Wednesday of the month. And so we're talking stock trade and investments with my man O today. But before we get into that, we are going to get our affirmations in and out of the way. So if you have your affirmations, you got to memorize or whatever you want to do, let's get these in and keep the show moving. Are you ready? Here we go. Today will be a good day. Today will be a great day. Today will be an amazing day. Today will be an awesome day. Today will be a phenomenal day. Today will be stress-free. Today will be a stress-less day. Today will be a beautiful day. I added that one in. Today I will overcome all barriers that want to stop and block my progress. Today, all circumstances, issues, and situations will line up and work in my favor. Today, I will become better than who and what I was yesterday. I am a go-getter. I am victorious. I am triumphant. I am an overcomer. I never lose. I either win or I learn. I take authority over this day. I will dominate this day. I will conquer this day. And everything I have spoken into this day will happen as I have affirmed, because I am more than a conqueror. Let's get it started. So, as you guys know, when it comes to these stock trade and investment podcasts, I take a back seat and my man O takes over. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right, good people. So tonight we're going to talk about something that is very important. I think we all need to know it. And a lot of times, like we say, so tonight I'm going to talk about assets and liabilities. And a lot of times we say these things and it sounds cool, or we may think we know what it is, but a lot of times we don't know exactly what it is, because some things you may think as an asset is not, and some things that may be liabilities you might think is an asset, or it could be an asset and you're treating it like a liability. So tonight, again, I want to say thanks to my man, give me the opportunity to get it in. So we're going to start it off, and again, tonight is going to be from a business and personal perspective. So if you don't have a business, you could take this information and like apply it to your home. And if you have a business, you could take this information and apply it to your business. So we are going to get started. All right. First thing, what are assets, right? So an asset is any resource or good used to generate cash flow. Let me say that again. Any resource or good used to generate cash flow. That could be anything you could think of that could generate cash flow. It's like these, when they was selling them kids all those fidgets that was spinning in their finger. To me, that's trash. To children, it's a big deal. To the guy who created it, it generated cash flow. Okay. Um, okay, so goods used to generate cash flow to reduce expenses, okay, or provide future income benefit for an individual, government, or business. Okay. Assets contain economic value and can benefit a company slash household's operation and increase the value of the business slash household or raise an individual's net worth or the company's net worth. Okay. Personal assets refer to those owned by individuals. So that's us, right? Our households. While business assets refer to those owned by the corporation or the company, assets can be either physical, like a car, or intangible. Okay. We'll get into all of that later. Currently available to sell. Okay. So an asset can be either physical or intangible, currently available to sell or available for long-term sale. A lot of us buy houses, sell them 20, 30 years later. That's how you get the best value out of them, okay? Or use for the daily operation of a business, okay? You can calculate a company's equity, solvency, or financial health by subtracting its liabilities from its assets, okay? And so that's how you can find good companies to invest in the market also. Okay, so you could subtract to find a financial health of a company, subtract its liabilities from its assets. Okay, let's get it going. What are liabilities? So this is going to be from the business perspective. In business bookkeeping, which we should bookkeep our houses, liabilities are financial obligations to outside parties. Don't we come? We have bills every month. Financial obligations to outside parties every month. Okay. The most common type of corporate and small business liabilities is monetary debt. Again, back to the thing. Our households hold a lot of what? Monetary debt, in which is largely grouped under accounts payable on a cash flow statement. Now, that's for businesses. It's on their accounts payable for cash flow statements. But our houses, as I preach all the time, we got to learn how to cash flow our own homes with just our regular jobs. If you have a job, you got to learn how to take your job and cash flow it. Okay. Next, assets versus liabilities, and how do they relate? Okay. Assets represent a net gain in value. Okay. While liabilities represent a net loss in value. So whatever you buy that's taking away, liability. Whatever you buy that's adding a net gain, assets. I'm gonna keep hammering it home. A standard accounting equation pits the total assets of a company or a household against its total liabilities. I said that before. And investors use this, like guys like me that invest in things and invest in the stock market, use this ratio of assets versus liabilities to place a valuation on a company. Okay. On a standard balance sheet, total assets are listed on the left side of the page. Depending on accounting procedures, the list of assets may include both current assets and long-term assets. Okay. And we'll get into that later. Okay. Next one. There's 6 types of assets. One, and we'll find ourselves as I go. One, there's current assets. Current assets are highly liquid assets that can be quickly sold and converted into currencies. For example, before me and my wife moved out of the house we used to live in, we sold a lot of things that gave us liquid cash back. Now, we didn't get the value that we bought them for, but we did get liquid cash. So they were assets, but they weren't. we didn't get the money back, but they were still assets because we could liquidate them. Okay. Financial assets like cash, bonds, mutual funds, stocks, and other marketable securities are considered the most liquid. Okay, and liquid just means you could get your hands on it immediately. You don't have to wait. Okay, and I'm gonna say it again: financial assets like cash, bonds, mutual funds, which a lot of us invest in, stocks, and other marketable securities are considered the most liquid current assets, meaning that an asset can be sold easily and quickly without affecting its price. So just to give you an example what that means. So like if you buy a house today and try to sell it next week, it the price may be different. Or if you buy so if you buy a stock today, price could be different, but it's not, you can get out of it quick enough to where it's not going to affect the price that much, if that makes any sense. Okay. Current assets for businesses can include cash, accounts receivable, inventory, and prepaid expenses. Okay. There's another category for assets. It's fixed assets, also referred to as a hard asset or a long-term asset. This may take a long period of time to earn cash value. So, for example, if people buy diamonds or people buy art, right? There's people buying NFTs now, and they're paying top dollar for it. And an NFT means non-fungible token, and they're paying top. And you're looking at it like, man, what are these digital pictures doing? Well, they're taking a gamble or risk that in the long term, this fixed asset will down the line generate income for them. Okay. And this may take a long period of time to earn cash value and generally considered low liquidity because you can't get rid of it as easy as those other assets I named that were current. Okay. It takes a while to get rid of fixed assets. And when it says low liquidity, it means they often cannot be sold at their desired value quickly. Okay. Some examples of fixed assets include buildings, land, furniture, like I told you I just sold from where I lived, or any other type of asset that is not intended for sale within a year. Okay. There's tangible assets. That's number 3. Tangible assets are real property. Like it's like inventory. So say you sell stuff. Say you got stuff on your shelves. It's real estate. That's tangible. You could touch it. Machinery for your business. Cash, you could touch it. Furniture. That is physically tangible and are often in owner's possession. So like I have my machinery, I have my car, I have my house, I have the cash on hand, I have the actual inventory that I stock my store with or my clothing company with. Okay. Most tangible assets are also considered current assets. Okay. Then there's intangible assets. Now, this is good right here. Intangible assets are items or goods that exist theoretically rather than physically. We'll keep getting into that. Some examples of intangible assets includes permits, intellectual property, so ideas, right? Patents, brand reputation. A lot of clothing brands have a lot of intangible asset, like just to wear a polo or to wear a Gucci shirt or to wear Versace. It means something in this world. Doesn't mean nothing to me, but in this world, those brands mean something. Apple, it means something. Um, uh, a lot of brands who like they pretty much are the name for the thing you're using, like Band-Aids, Pampers. Pampers is actually a brand, but but people call every pamper a pamper. So they kind of got an intangible brand reputation of an asset, right? Trademarks are intangible assets, which in turn have their value boosted through successful use. Okay, so like the intangible assets, I feel like the culture creates these, right? My intellectual property, like so, it's the lady who I don't know if everybody knows the story, but there's a lady who created the Terminator and the Matrix. She wrote the books years before the movies came out, and she's fighting for her intellectual property back. Like they've made the Matrix, and they've kind of like got her out of the way. They made the Terminator, got her out of the way, and she's the brain, the intellectual property behind it. So she's like actually fighting them to get her just due. Okay. Number 5, there's operating assets. Okay. Operating assets are any assets that generate revenue through day-to-day business operations. If you haven't been under a rock, there's a lot of people that are doing trucking companies, right? Their trucks are generating day-to-day revenue. Okay. and help maintain workflow. The trucks, the cars, we see them on UPS trucks are operating assets for UPS. Okay. Some examples of another examples of operating assets are copyrights, licenses, inventory, or machinery. We talked about the trucks, right? So operating assets are an asset that generates revenue through day-to-day business operations. Now, before I keep going, if we could just find ourselves in or our businesses or even our personal lives, do we have a lot of assets, or we even sitting on assets that we haven't got out there yet, like these intangible assets, right? Do we have intellectual property that needs to come out? Do we have things we need to trademark? Do we need to create bigger brands, better brands, right? Let's just think about these things. Number 6, non-operating assets. Non-operating assets are businesses owned items that generate revenue, but are not necessarily needed for everyday operations, such as vacant land or a short-term investment. So if you go buy something, invest in it for, a lot of fix and flips, that will be a short-term investment. Okay. I'm talking about real estate when I say fix and flips. Okay. And now that was types of assets. Now these are examples of assets. Okay. Cash is the ultimate short-term asset. So if you ever heard the thing, if you heard people say cash is king, well, cash is king depending on your philosophy. But cash is king because when anything happens or uh, like any setback, you can quickly bounce back because you got cash on hand. If opportunity presents itself to buy an asset, right? Cash is the most liquid thing you can have because why? It can buy another asset. So a company with large stores of cash has the financial flexibility to respond to setbacks quickly. And we could say a household with large stores of cash has the financial flexibility to respond to setbacks quickly. Okay. Another example of assets, we talked some about it earlier. Intellectual property can be a long-term asset. Okay. A company or household with high quality patents and copywritten material can be well set up for the future. Again, you write a book today, in the future, you become a bestseller. Or you create you write a movie, you write a song, you draw a painting. In the future, that material can set you up for success. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. Can't think of it right now. But again, when these guys was creating these businesses, I know you've seen that picture. It's like 4 boxes, and it has the start of Amazon, the start of Apple, and 2 other companies. And then one was in like a garage. Jeff Bezos had like a small office. They were nobody then, but they had high quality patents and copywritten material, right? That set them up for future success. This next one is my lane that I love. Real estate is potentially a flexible asset. Okay. Real estate tends to appreciate with time, which is lovely, and it outpaces inflation. By owning its own buildings, or you own your own buildings, a company or household enjoy a source of future revenue. So that says a lot. Should it eventually sell the real estate in the short term, it may also be possible to borrow cash against it. That's a gem right there. A lot of times you get enough equity in your home, you can borrow cash against it. There's 2 ways to go about that. You can either get a line of credit against it, which creates a second lien on your house, but usually you should, depend that I'm not gonna get into that. Or you can get a home equity loan. Okay. And that's borrowing. Well, that's not even borrowing, that's a loan. Or you can get you can refi. It's a lot of things you could do. So yeah, you can get a home equity loan, borrow cash against it. And although the bank loan will create long-term liability, you can get a short-term flexibility with your assets, right? So like you can get money now off of a long-term asset. So you can pull money out now to use now off of a long-term asset that may appreciate later. Okay. Number 4 of examples of assets. Any questions, good brother? We good?
Yeah, real quick before
Yeah.
you keep moving, let's just take a quick break
Okay.
and then come right back. Give you a little
Okay.
chance to get a little swig of
Get a
water.
little swig. Yeah, yeah,
You dropping knowledge, brother. You dropping knowledge.
yeah.
So again, hope you guys get your tablets and your notebooks and all that stuff out, taking notes. Take a brief break, and we'll be back with my man O talking about stock, trade, and investments, talking about assets and liabilities. Paramount Ink Pot Shop. Are you looking for an apparel company that's positive, uplifting, and truly cares about you? Then look no further. Frame of Mind Inc., an apparel brand company, impresses on individuals to think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. Get positive apparel such as t-shirts, hoodies, and wristbands for children, teens, and adults in various colors and sizes. Customized services include logo and t-shirt design, screen printing, and embroidery for individuals, families, schools, profit, and nonprofit organizations. You can reach Frame of Mind Inc. at 302-689-3499 or visit their website at www.frameofmindinc.com. Frame of Mind Inc. Think it, speak it, achieve it. It's the frame of mind. Welcome back to the podcast. We got my man O talking to us today on our stock trade and investment podcast about assets and liabilities. And we're going to let him jump right back into what he was talking about. So shake your wrist out a little bit, or your fingers, you typing or you writing. And let's get back to it. Oh, back to you. You got it, brother.
All right. We're going to come to the home stretch. We almost done. So I left off talking about real estate is a potential flexible asset. Okay. So I went over that. Now, the next thing that is an example of an asset is machinery. But machinery is considered a depreciable asset, right? Machinery counts as a corporate asset, but machinery depreciates over time. So, like, my man has a printing business. He has machinery for that. Or if you have if you make what say you make pizza, right? Like the oven that you use, the pizza oven. It's a depreciating asset, but it helps you make pizza, which generates cash flow. Okay, so over time it depreciates. But if you need to liquidate that thing, you can sell that oven. You can sell the t-shirt makers or the printing things you have. Okay, so machinery is it depreciates over time, but businesses actually, here's the good thing: businesses can claim these depreciations as a tax deduction, which is another good thing. Okay. Now here's another example for the next one as an intangible asset. Now check this out. This can lead to employee retention. So what that means is, like, strong companies. So remember I talked about brand and the culture and things that, like, the culture creates are cool. Like, that's an intangible asset. That's not physical. It's intangible. Okay. So strong company culture cannot be bought or sold on the market, but it can improve employee retention, right? Like, so people say, so my wife's in the banking industry, and I noticed over the years, as time moved on, there was always a new bank, not even a new bank, but just a new place that everybody was trying to get to because they were talking about the culture, and it became a cool thing. Oh man, Royal Banks, that's where to go, man. They got a great culture. I was hearing it, I've heard it for years. Citibank, Barclay, like, that's where to go. It's the culture. You can't buy or sell that. But people want to go work for these places because they have this intangible asset, which is a great culture. Okay. And it says making employees more likely to grow with the company over a long-term time, right? Now we can apply that same thing. Do our households have a lot of intangible assets? We just got to find them. Right. All right. So, and last but not least, examples of liabilities. We can relate to some of this stuff here. Payments to lenders are long-term liabilities. To quote a scripture, the Bible says the borrower is slave to the lender. We need to get out of debt. Okay. Payments to lenders are long-term liabilities. We do not want liabilities on our back forever. Okay. There is an economic benefit in taking out business loans. So getting loans is not a problem because they provide short-term liquidity. But however, these loans must be reported as long-term liabilities on our home balance sheet as well as our business balance sheet. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Okay. Taking out a loan. What are we taking loans out on? Are we getting Best Buy cards to get that to get the new hot TV? Or are we taking Best Buy cards out to get a computer or a laptop to start our business on? Or are we getting Best Buy cards, or are we getting Pier 1 cards? I don't think they exist no more. Or Macy's cards for clothing, right? Or are we getting Macy's cards for clothing so that I can present myself as, as whatever I'm trying to, like, say I'm a salesman and I need suits, or if I'm trying to reach, whatever, like I can get a Macy's card to help me generate cash flow. Believe it or not, like I can dress the part. So I got to get clothes for that. And it could become a business expense, which you can write off. So it's two ways to use the same product. You can get a Macy's card to be an asset for you, or Macy's card to be a liability for you. You can get a Best Buy card to be an asset for you, or you can get a Best Buy card to be a liability for you. Okay. 2, annual income taxes are short-term liabilities. Income taxes are an annual affair by definition. They count as a short-term liability. Now, you can also learn more about taxes. I'm not even going to begin to start, but there's ways and things you can do to offset taxes. There's tricks to the trade. I need to learn more, but like there's ways to where, like I've heard a person say, if you want to get wealthier, you got to redo your W-2s, W4, like do your W-4 again. Figure out how to get your exemptions and all of that good stuff. Starting a business, being in real estate, those kind of things are good for your taxes. Okay. Again, I'm not an expert there, but that annual income taxes are short-term liabilities. And last but not least, for examples of liabilities is unearned revenue that can be a liability. So like if a company or a household is counting money, or like, okay, so if a company's income statement shows a deficit of anticipated revenue, let me put it in our terms. Like if we're saying, let's put it in working terms, but let me read this out first. If a company's income statement shows a deficit of anticipated revenue, this counts as a short-term liability because they didn't receive it, right? Companies budget for a certain level of annual cash flow, and when revenues do not meet expectations, they go to the right side of the balance sheet. Now, again, that's for business, but for us, we also have anticipated, and when I say us, I mean people that work, right? We have anticipated income with what? A 9-to-5 job. Okay. Now, if we don't go to work and say you don't have vacation days, or you don't clock them hours in, you got to make up somehow for that. And if you don't, your job can become a liability. That's why we got to get on the business side and the investment side of things, because if that job, say they shut the doors, say they kick you out, or they fire, like say they lay off, that anticipated income, say you make 100 grand a year and they lay you off with no package. Now you got a whole 100 grand you got to figure out, because you lived the lifestyle of 100 grand, which now that job or that income that you did not receive, that was counted for because you think we're going to have it, we think the job's never going anywhere. Well, it becomes a liability. That's why we got to get to nothing's wrong with the job, but we talked about the quadrants before. We got to get to the business and investment side. So, like I said, and when revenues do not meet expectations, or we don't clock the hours we need, or things happen with our job, they become a liability. And tonight, that's it. Like I said, that was a nice little review of assets and liabilities. I think that's very important that we learn this stuff. study it, get like learn about different things you could do to turn an asset or a liability into an asset. Like I gave an example before, where you could take your car that you pay payments on, if you can rent it out through an app called Toro. Now you turned your actual vehicle into an asset. Before it was taken away from you, gas money, your car payment or whatever, tires, it's all, you turned it into an asset by what? Getting creative, renting it out on Turo. Your household, people think their actual house is an asset, and it can be, because we learned about long-term assets, right? That grow in the long term. But like in the now, they take from us. We got to pay for the heat. We got to heat this place. We got to cool the place down. We need the electric running at certain times. What the roof goes bad, we got to fix the roof. We got to cut the grass. We got to upkeep the home, and it's not generating any income. But if you run a business out of it, you can write off a certain square feet of your home. You can write off your phone bill, your computer, a lot of different things you can start to write off, because why? You're running a business out of your house. So, like, again, that's it for the night. I recommend we all learn these things and get these things down. And now we know when we spend for something, is it taken from you or is it adding to you?
Right.
Brother.
My man, dropping knowledge on assets and liabilities. And I'm gonna say this one thing, and I'm gonna let it go. I don't necessarily like coming in after he does that, because he kind of does everything that needs to be done. So, but yes, I am one, or should I say, my wife and I, we are ones that have a home-based business. As you can see, those of you who are looking at the live video here, I am in the lowest lower level of my current home, where I'm in the studio. So this is where I do all my musical production, video production, music production, things of that nature. So that's just, two entities to the business of Frame of Mind Inc. We have the music portion, we have the video portion. We also have the apparel portion. That's another section of the house. So, of course, again, we have podcasting also done here in the studio. So this room consists of 3 different entities: music, video, and podcasting.
That's good. Yeah.
So, just saying, we are definitely 1,000% able to write off a portion of square footage in our household, because this is where we conduct business. So anyway,
which lowers your mortgage.
Yes, it does.
Lowers your mortgage.
Lowers the phone bill.
A lot of things, right?
Lowers the electric bill.
Exactly.
Lowers the water, everything gets lowered.
Right.
Water bill, all that. So, and that's surface stuff. That's
right. Right.
Again, if you want to go deeper into what my man O is talking about, as you can see in his background, he's got, all of his, stock market background back there. Get that O package. And again, if you want to get that O package, you can always give us a call at 302-689-3499, or you can contact the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast at FOFM podcast at frameofmindinc.com. Again, that's FOFM podcast at frameofmindinc.com. And again, if you want to contact us and let us know, how we're doing, how the show has impacted you in one way or another, let us know by doing the same. Or if there's a subject you want us to talk about or cover, let us know as well. Again, we may not cover all topics and all subjects, but hey, we'd still like to hear from you guys and let us know, so we can, interact with you guys even more, and talk about some things possibly that you guys would like us to have have discussions about, give perspective on, and things of that nature. So with that being said, that's our show for today. Join us next week where we're talking about decision making. And that's will be something you guys want to tune in and listen to. A lot of good information coming in that podcast next Wednesday. And so until next time, continue to think it, speak it, and achieve it. And as always, till next time, I holla. Thank you for joining the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And as always, here at Frame of Mind Inc., think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. As our tagline says, think it, speak it, achieve it. See you next time.
It's a frame of mind. It's what you say and what you do.
Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.frameofmindinc.com, where you can browse our online apparel store, listen to some of our original music and production services, as well as view our videos and projects we've done for our clients and customers.